It said to rotate the phone there, so I'm going to have to do it like this.
Okay.
Welcome to Mickey Mouse Live.
Hi, we're back in the kitchen. We're ready to do our dumplings.
So y'all bear with us. This is our first try here.
We've got 8 cups of broth in our boiler. This is what we cook the chicken in, and we also once you cook your chicken and fill it up with, you cover the chicken when you're boiling it with water, and you put salt and pepper in it, and you make sure you have enough of water in it also.
And I used 2 big chicken breasts cut in half.
Right.
For this.
For this broth. Then you get it to boiling. You add a 10.5 ounce can of cream of chicken, and we always scrape the can. Some people don't do that, but we were taught you don't leave a spoon of food in the can.
Molly always said, get every bit that's in there.
So,
no waste.
So that's what we do. We scrape the can. And then we put, I put a teaspoon of chicken base, and I do that to add to the flavor. I like it.
You get that
I like
at
it
Sam's,
rich.
right?
Yes, I get this at Sam's. I'll show you it's chicken base, and I use that.
And I'm going to set this down just a second to get my skillets out of the oven for the cornbread.
She's doing cornbread also. We like cornbread with our dumplings. So
bread on bread.
She's making a pan of cornbread. So on the dumplings, you just take a whisk and whisk in your cream of chicken soup and your base. And you have to let your broth and your cream of chicken soup, it has to come to a boil before you put your cut up tortillas in it. Now the tortillas, when you're cutting them, they're going to be stuck together because you cut 5 or 10 at a time. What I need you to do is separate them. They have to be separated. Just separate with your hands, because you don't want them to just be one big old thick dumpling. You want it to be individual little dumplings. And Linda's putting her cornbread in the skillets, and I'm waiting on my broth to boil, come to a boil. You don't want to put them in there before it comes to a boil, because they'll stick together. Big spoon, should be.
Yeah, this one I heard this for.
So now my chicken, you want to show them a picture of the chicken?
Yes.
And you have to be very careful. Once that starts coming to a boil, it'll boil over if you don't stand here and watch it. You take a handful and separate them, put them in there, and then you make sure that they're down in the broth. You just take a spoon. Amy Elsie told me, she said, every time you put a handful in, put them down in the broth. Then you just...
You'll see she's got about inch squares that she's got cut there, so they're all pretty uniform.
And then you just put another layer of tortillas, and just, you don't necessarily want to stir it, but you want to just make sure the broth is covering all the tortillas. Then you put another one in, cover it.
I'm going to need to turn this down a little bit. It's going to be a big pot of dumplings.
Yes, it is.
And for those of you who haven't tried this, I'm telling you, you're going to be surprised. They are delicious.
I would like to correct something that we had told earlier. We had showed a video earlier of cutting these tortillas up, and I said cut up a 20 count tortillas, because our boiler wasn't quite as big as what I use at home, so I actually only put 15 tortillas in this. The more broth you have, the more tortillas you need. So now we got them in there. Now it's got to come to a boil. And when it comes to a boil, you put the lid on it, and you turn it down to a little above medium. You want it to keep boiling, but you don't want it, and you don't want it to cool down, but you don't want it on high. So you would put it between medium and low, and cook it for 20 minutes. But it hadn't come to a boil yet. When it comes to a boil, you turn it down.
Okay, we got the cornbread.
Because when it starts boiling, it's going to boil over if you don't turn it down. So now it's coming to a boil. I'm going to put my lid on it, and I'm going to turn it down till about a 3 on Linda's stove. We're at Linda's house today. So I turned it to a 3 and got the lid on it. And my Aunt Elsie, I was standing there, I can remember it as if it was yesterday. I was standing at her stove, and she said, now Mary, once you put that lid on there, time it for 20 minutes. Do not take this cover off, because when you remove this cover, you're letting that boil go